Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to the Packernet podcast. I am your host and resident fanalist, as always, Ryan Schlipp. Check us out online, packernet.com. Find me on Twitter, pack_data. So, big day today. Big day today. I got the Lions about to start here in a little bit, so I don't have any commentary on that, although I maybe we'll have some live commentary in a little bit. But obviously today for you, Packer game. Now, I have a feeling there's going to be an overreaction to either winning or losing the game. That really is not the point. It's great to win. You feel good about winning. And obviously if you win, your guys presumably did pretty well. But some of the guys that did well, that helped you win the game, are going to be guys that aren't even on the football team for either team. So don't read too much into it. Now, with that said, I am hoping Detroit gets the crap beat out of them, because there is a very slim, thin little element that matters. The first of which is you lost both your coordinators, so there's a chance that the guys calling the plays just suck a lot more. But I think the bigger thing in my mind is the mental side of it. You can tell yourself, well, it doesn't matter all you want, but when a bunch of people are telling you you're not going to be the same, you're not going to be as good, and then you come out and you get embarrassed twice, your head coach starts speaking to you in the locker room in ways that you're not used to, like, what the heck was that? Why are we doing this? Just saying there's a sliver of a chance that could have some kind of an impact down the road, but obviously I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. But if that happens, now you know my thoughts. But as much as I want to watch the game and have it be exciting because we win, the things that I'm watching for, number one, obviously, stay healthy. Absolutely the most important. Number two would be snap counts as well as order. Who comes out first, second, third, and how much they play. And then third is how well did those guys play. And again, it's the preseason, so I'm honestly less interested in how well Jordan Love plays than I am with guys that we have less information on, bubble guys, etc. Again, everybody's going to make way too much of Jordan Love and trying to think who's even. I don't think Jaden Reed's even playing. Romeo, assuming he plays. If Zach Tom gives up a pressure, somebody's going to make some kind of a stupid, idiotic comment about it. Not the point. You want Jordan to play well, but again, it's like you're not even calling the same plays that you're going to. You're trying things you wouldn't otherwise try. All that stuff that just makes it not good information. But it's the best information we're going to get on a lot of other guys. So again, things like health and snap counts are going to matter the most. How well they perform is going to matter the next most, as silly as that might sound to some people, but it's just the reality. If Tyron Hopper doesn't come out until the end of the game after, Christian Welch, that's going to mean a lot more to me than Tyron Hopper, looking pretty decent or getting a 72 PFF grade, because it means to me Tyron Hopper is I'm just picking a random name here, but that means he is way down the list, and it's informative that things are not looking good for him. And so what I actually want to do to start things off today is go look at PFF from last year. I want to look at snap counts, and I want to look at grades for two reasons. Number one, to kind of give us an idea of maybe what we can expect as far as snap counts. I don't know that Matt LaFleur is going to stick to the exact same formula, but it might give us a little bit of an idea of who plays how much. The other thing, and it's more or less to drive home a point, is when you look at the grades, I'll ask a simple question. How informative is this grade that I'm reading to you right now? I don't even know exactly what they look like. I just know that occasionally you'll see a good grade from somebody that doesn't even make the team, or good grades from guys that end up being terrible. I'll never forget Royce Newman as maybe the greatest example of this. He was a 4th-round pick, so right off the bat, everyone's excited. He's a prototypical Packer. He is athletic. He's tall. He's lean. Again, 4th-round pick, offensive lineman for the Packers, just screams he's going to be a success. He's got a mullet. Everything about the guy looked great. He comes in like the highest graded offensive lineman in all of the preseason. He's getting 90 PFF grades. Like, holy crap, we knocked it out of the park with this guy. He's going to be great. That's how things started with Royce Newman. Do I need to fill in the blank of how that went after the preseason? It also probably speaks a little bit to why the Packers seem to do things that don't make any sense. We get excited about certain guys, and it's like, why are you not playing them? Why did you cut them? Why did they not make the 53? Why are they da-da-da-da-da-da? Because they probably see things beyond just the 4 good plays that they made in the preseason or training camp or the PFF grades or whatever. Doesn't mean they're right necessarily, but to be clear, let's just say they have much better data than we do. And it looks like they're showing me the Browns game, which is fine. I wanted to watch Shedeur anyways, but that's weird. Pretty rough start for a Shedeur so far. Why don't we take a break? We'll come back and start popping into the PFF stuff. All right, before we jump in, real quick, just wanted to mention for those that did not hear, Green Bay Packers legend Billy Houghton apparently passed away at the age of 95 years old. Founder and the first president of the NFLPA also, so quite a life. You make it to 95, I mean, it's an accomplishment in and of itself, but pretty incredible. Shedeur's kind of heating up a little bit here. All right, well, nothing is ever 100%. Things can change last minute, but it does seem as though Matt LaFleur wants Jordan Love and the starters to play. This was the case last year as well. However, if you think that this is going to be some kind of a big thing, Jordan Love played 3 snaps and threw 2 passes. Granted, that was, one series, 3 and out, and he was shut down. If they drive all the way down the field, it would be more than that. They're not going to pull him after the first down, but do not expect any more than 1 series from Jordan Love, I guess is the point. Other guys that did not play beyond that 1 series, Christian Watson, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, who only played 1 snap, so he was only out there for 1 of those plays, Josh Jacobs, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, Rasheed Walker, and Romeo Doubs. So the receivers all got pulled, the starting receivers. I would guess Matthew Golden will get a little bit more time as a rookie. Josh Jacobs, I don't know if he's going to be playing. That goes for Reed too. There's other guys that may be injured anyways, but I don't know if we'll see Josh Jacobs at all. And then as far as offensive linemen, we saw Rasheed and Elton Jenkins sit out. I would guess we're talking about after the first series. I mean, they did that with Rasheed. They'll probably do it again, especially since they want to see the young guys, Belton and Morgan, play more. They'll probably do that again with Elton if he even plays. He seems to be injured again, I think. I don't know. Our new left guard, Banks, also injured, but if he can go, they'll probably let him go that first series and then pull him. They'll probably add Zach Tom to that list. Bottom line, outside of right guard, I kind of think you get 1 series and they're going to get pulled. After that, the guys with low snaps are kind of the exact, literally the exact opposite side of the spectrum. You've got Ellis Merriweather, Jarvion Howard, Messiah Swinson, guys that were at the bottom of the roster, at least at the time, and didn't get very many opportunities. On the flip side, it was Jacob Monk, by far with the most amount of opportunities, and he was actually listed as a right guard, which is kind of interesting. Sean Ryan was the next highest after that. Now, I don't know how much to read into that because some of that may come down to just how much, number one, we need to see of you, reps that you need, but also how few people maybe we have out there. And that may be different this year as opposed to last year. However, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a healthy amount of Jacob Monk and probably Sean Ryan for the same reason. And that is not only do they fill 2 spots that we don't have super deep, center in particular, but also I think they really want to see these guys and give them as many reps as possible to be backups at those 2 positions, center and guard. So you may see Sean Ryan only play a handful of snaps at right guard where he's probably going to be stationed most of the time, if not full-time, whatever. But he's also going to be getting some snaps at center. They may even try him at left guard. Somebody's got to back up Banks. And Monk is our backup center, but they also seem to be cross-training him a ton at guard, so it may be the exact same thing. He's going to get a bunch of center reps as the, that second team that comes out almost immediately as the center, but they may move him off of that on the next series or when the threes come out or whatever to one of the guard spots. On the defensive side, very similar. Preston Smith, Kenny Clark, Rashawn Gary played 4 snaps. Presumably, either the defense got off pretty fast or they said, I don't care, you're done after 4. But probably see something similar. Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Preston is no longer with the team, obviously. Van Ness, I don't know. He's not, a multi-million-dollar man. They need a big jump from him. He's a young guy. Be interested to see if they start treating him like a superstar or if he's still just an unproven player and he's going to sit out there for a while. It's still going to be less than some of the other guys, but I am curious the discrepancy, if there is any, between Rashawn Gary and Lucas Van Ness. I think you could put Xavier McKinney in that camp, although, again, he is not going to be out there anyway. He's got an injury that may have him out the rest of the offseason. We'll see. I am a little curious about the corners. Again, leaving aside the injury, because I don't know who's feeling bad, good, whatever. I'm curious about Keyshawn Nixon and Hobbs in particular and whether they're going to be getting any extended time or if they're going to get pulled right away. I would guess pulled pretty fast. They want to see Buller. They want to see King. Ballantyne, I kind of feel like was just brought in because we needed to fill in a spot. But Kamal Haddon, Micah Robinson, the 7th-round pick, Tyron Herring, Garnett Hollis Jr., why not? But there's guys that, Jonathan Baldwin, Isaiah Dunn, Bo Melton, obviously, is going to be a big one. Although, pretty sure he's got a roster spot locked up. It's just a question of where do we put him on the depth chart? Is he next man up? He might be. He might be at that point. Again, if for no other reason, then who is it? I mean, Kalen King's the only other guy that you would think would have any claim to it, and it's based on nothing. Kalen King hasn't done anything. He's not a high pick. He's a 7th-round pick. It's kind of just name recognition. I mean, we might as well slot Micah Robinson, who was a 7th-round pick, in there. I think an interesting note here is that Quay Walker also really did not play very much. And, when you talk about Lucas Van Ness, I mean, easy to see where he would end up getting pulled if Quay got pulled. Another guy that probably you would assume is going to get pulled is Edgerrin. Not that we wouldn't want to see him, and he's young, and he's not paid yet or anything, but, I mean, that guy is safe to say he's an incredibly valuable part of our defense. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Quay and Edgerrin, again, assuming they play at all, pulled early. I'm sure they want to see a lot of Isaiah Simmons. McDuffie doesn't need to be out there, but he's a body to fill in for, a period of time. Tyron Hopper absolutely needs the snaps, and then you got Christian Welch, and then Jamon Johnson and Jared Bartlett, 2 UDFAs this year that are going to be fighting for some roster spots or playoff practice squad. They're showing a video of what it looks like they're going to be building. I'm guessing for the Cleveland Browns. It looks fantastic. I'm a sucker for this stuff, man. I love it. I love the new stadiums and all that. I love that all these stadiums are doing the little bowl thing now. I think that's kind of cool. I don't know why that's the new thing, but I like it. Like you can just walk up and then look down and the stadium is down there. It's pretty awesome. Lambeau needs to stay as it is, but if I'm going to travel to other places at any point in my life to go watch the Packers play, I would love to be able to see some of these other cool stadiums. Not asking for the Packers to change. Packers can stay. They can grow. If you can stack a couple layers on, I don't care. In fact, I saw Buffalo just created something that helps with wind. Just the way that they have the top of the stadium. It's still open. They didn't dome it or anything, but they put something around the rim, kind of a little bit of a lip. Something to think about. I don't know. Anyways, I got distracted because it looked pretty cool. Devontae Wyatt also only played 9 snaps. I mean, looking at that, I have to assume Van Ness is not going to be playing a ton. Wyatt only played 9 snaps. Quay only played 8. McKinney last year played 8. So bottom line, we're looking at about a series for guys like that. As far as the corners, we saw Stokes and Keyshawn played 12 last year, so that's probably what you're looking at for Keyshawn and Hobbs as a category. Again, I don't know as far as injuries. And then again, you've got the other guys that are on the low end that are guys way at the bottom of the list. Zach Morton, Brevin Allen, Kenneth Odemegwu, Benny Sapp. So there's two categories of not playing a ton, and it's super valuable and probably not going to make the team. The most amount of snaps, interestingly, hilariously, whatever you want to say, Raylan Goforth. So it's interesting because they obviously wanted to see a ton of him. There's that slash, we need a linebacker to be able to play, but they chose him to play a ton. He didn't end up obviously making the team. He didn't play very well either, 56 PFF grade, so obviously gave him a lot of opportunity. He didn't do much with it. The other was Kalen King, the next one up. So they obviously wanted to get a real good look at him. I'll be interested to see if his numbers go down. I'm hoping that it doesn't, that he still gets a ton of snaps, that they still really want to see a bunch from him, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, they've got more than just Kalen King now. He was your 7th-round pick last year. You got another one this year. But it would just be a little unfortunate if he just becomes another guy and is getting 17 snaps instead of his 34. Other guys at the top, Anthony Johnson Jr., Robert Rochelle, Christian Welch, Brenton Cox, Isaiah McDuffie, Lucas Van Ness. I mean, we're down to 24 now, but it's interesting that he was pretty high last year. So it'll be interesting to see who gets the opportunities and who doesn't. But why don't we take our second break? I want to go through some of the grades, some of my thoughts as far as expectations and whatnot, and we'll sail on out of here. We'll be right back. All right, so again, just for the sake of entertainment and also just things to keep in the back of our mind, here are the grades that we saw from preseason week 1. Now, first of all, some of these, there's not enough snaps to take any of this seriously, but the two highest graded were Dontavian Wicks and Jordan Love. Combined, there were 4 snaps there. As far as guys that actually played any amount of snaps, the highest graded was Julian Hicks. Not really anything to take away from that, obviously. Second highest, and this was, at the time, I mean, this was a big deal. This guy was talked about quite a bit. Grant DuBose. Where's Grant DuBose today? I don't know. He's not a Packer. The third highest, guy that I was very excited about, and the Packers said, screw this guy, Michael Pratt. Julian Hicks, Grant DuBose, Michael Pratt. Fourth highest, actually tied for third highest with Michael Pratt, Joel Wilson, the tight end, followed by Sean Clifford. The only guy on this team still is Sean Clifford. The next highest, just below a 70, Luke Tenuta. Again, not on the team. Then through the 60s, we got Emmanuel Wilson, Sean Ryan, Andre Dillard, Messiah Swinson, Samori Toure, Lacita Smith, hilariously, Jacob Monk, Marshawn Lloyd, Jarvion Howard, Malik Heath, Travis Glover. Then we get down into some of the negative or not super great grades, again, leaving out the ones that didn't play a ton. Jalen Wayne, I don't know who he is either. Caleb Jones, Ben Sims, who the Packers absolutely love and is absolutely still a part of the team. Kadeem Telfort, Royce Newman, A.J. Dillon, and the lowest graded, Bo Melton. Everybody's fan favorite. I know he's in a different position, but Bo Melton, based on what you saw from preseason week 1, probably isn't going to be on the team in 2025. On the flip side, absolutely keep an eye out for Julian Hicks and Grant DuBose. Whoops. On the defensive side of things, the highest graded, Robert Rochelle. Robert Rochelle, no longer a Green Bay Packer. Second highest is Evan Williams. And again, you can say, well, see, there you go. That was a sign. First of all, we're talking about completely random information at this point. But beyond that, the problem is, if you look at a pile, let's say there's 10 players that are in the 70s and 80s, 10, 15. And if I tell you 1 to 2 of those is actually going to end up being good, what good is that information? It's not. It's useless information. In other words, you're not going to be able to decipher from who graded out well the information you want, which is to tell you who's going to play well in the 2025 season. Next highest graded, Christian Young. Do you know who that is? Is he a Packer today? The answer, no. Also, linebacker. Then you have Colby Wooden, who was terrible in 2024. Zane Anderson, who was fine with a 77. Lucas Van Ness, who I don't think anybody would say this was indicative of how he's going to play in 2024. 2024. Eric Stokes with a 76. Big breakout year for him incoming. Isaiah McDuffie, 74. And then Zach Morton with a 70.4. Tyler Coyle, 69, kind of close. Kalen King, 69. Through the 60s-ish, Anthony Johnson, Corey Ballantyne, Jonathan Ford, Christian Welch, Keyshawn Nixon, Javon Bullard, Aaron Mosby, Quay Walker, Eric Wilson, Carl Brooks. And then on the negative side, you got Raylan Goforth, James Esther, TJ Slayton, Jermon Green, Kenneth Odemegwu, Kingsley Enigbare. And you can say, see, these are all bad players. Okay, before we continue, first of all, almost everybody that I listed positive and negative is not on the team today. So, doesn't really help. Also, though, the third worst, Brenton Cox Jr. Brenton Cox actually ended up making the team. Not that that's a surprise, but there you go. Ended up in a starting role and actually played at a pretty high level. The bottom two were Spencer Wagee and LJ Davis. So there's nothing wrong with seeing these things and using it to try to help you parse out, okay, who do I think is going to maybe move up a little bit? Maybe next week they get a little bit more in terms of snaps. Maybe next week they go down in terms of snaps. Maybe we adjust our 53 because we assume the Packers are kind of adjusting the 53. How a guy plays in the preseason matters when he's a bubble guy in terms of whether or not they're going to make the Packers 53 or even practice squad. But trying to use that information to say this guy's going to be a good player for us this season, I just think it's useless. It's completely useless. Lastly, I guess, I mean, look, ultimately what I want is to enjoy my day, hang out with my kids, watch some football, hopefully see a couple touchdowns and a few things to cheer for, and nobody gets hurt, and it's going to be a good day. That's ultimately the reality of the situation. If I'm being greedy, I want to see, number one, Matthew Golden looks legit. I'm watching Teteroa McMillan. He looks quite good. There was a couple little things there where it's like, all right, maybe not the most elite wide receiver in the world, but there were a couple nice plays, especially for a guy where you're concerned about his speed and whatnot. So I'm sure you feel good if you are a Carolina Panthers fan. I want to feel good about Matthew Golden. If he drops a pass, not that it's the end of the world, but it's like this guy's got incredible hands. Oh, here come the drops. I don't want to deal with that. Also, Savion Williams, 1,000% would love to see him, whether it's behind the line of scrimmage type of nonsense or whatever we're doing. I'm all in. Don't forget, we've got some other fun things at wide receiver. So it's kind of interesting because it's like, well, Dobbs and Reed and obviously Watson and Wicks probably not going to be playing a ton. And you think, well, that sucks. Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, Mecole Hardman, I would really like to see. Also, the new guy, Isaiah Nayer. He's a rookie. He's a monster. Not that there's a ton to look forward to there, but beast. Wouldn't mind seeing something cool with that. And then Will Shepard, who's actually looked quite good and is an undrafted free agent. Again, the ceiling, who knows how high we're actually expecting these guys to go. There's really no room. But I wouldn't mind having some really solid guys to throw on the practice squad that might have some upside. Running backs. We're not going to see Jacobs. We're not going to see Marshawn Lloyd. We might not be seeing Emmanuel Wilson. We'll see. I shouldn't even say we won't see Marshawn Lloyd. I don't know. I don't know their injury status. But what I will say is I'm excited to see Chris Brooks. Chris Brooks, there's been a lot of positives so far about Chris Brooks. Very excited to see Israel Abanikanda. And then we got a couple other UDFAs that we'll see if they can do something kind of fun in Amar Johnson and Jalen White. But seeing Chris Brooks and Israel Abanikanda, I think, could be a lot of fun. At quarterback, Malik Willis. Look, I like Jordan. I'd love to see him play well. I couldn't care less if he doesn't play at all. I don't need him getting hurt, and I'm really excited to watch Malik Willis. I don't think there's been a more exciting backup quarterback in Green Bay. I mean, we had, what's his name, that was a really solid backup for us, won games and whatnot. But as far as exciting, the accuracy, the freaking wheels that Malik Willis has, I would love to watch him play the whole game. He won't, but I'm just saying, I would love to see that because he's an exciting player, and I'm all in. Sean Clifford, Taylor Elgersma, I mean, I'd love to see Sean Clifford take some massive step. I think that would be maybe the next biggest thing to watch for me at quarterback. I didn't hate Sean Clifford in college. I know he's some serious issues, flaws, whatever, but he also had some fun stuff, right? Supremely intelligent, 5th-round pick. Wouldn't be the worst thing if the guy takes a big step forward. Elgersma, I don't have much by way of expectations, but I'm ready to be pleasantly surprised. Tight end, I don't care. I don't need to see Tucker or Musgrave, and I don't really have a lot of thoughts on Fitzpatrick, Sims, Swinson, or Lumpkin, but best of luck. May the best man win, etc., etc. Offensive line, you know exactly what I'm about to say. I need to see Belton, and I need to see Jordan Morgan. I don't care about anybody else. I would love to see Sean Ryan and Jacob Monk play at a high level. If nothing else, their depth, Sean Ryan at this point probably a starter. But yeah, depth at offensive line is massive, and I would love to have them play well. But look, if right now Jordan Morgan and Anthony Belton are not starting, they need to be playing at least half this game, if not more. I don't think they will, but they have to be. It's moon to the moon or bust, bro. If you're not starting, you suck. This isn't the 6th round. I'm not content like Jacob Monk is a 5th-round pick. If he's a solid backup center, dope. That's awesome. I'm fine with that. So, yeah, they need as much exposure as is humanly possible, and they need to stay on the field until they're good enough to be starters. That's all there is to it. You just stay there until you're good. Got it? Defensively, again, I don't need to see starters. I don't need to see Wyatt. I don't need to see Gary. I don't need to see Kenny Clark. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of Van Ness. He's had a good day every single day of camp so far. If he's able to make even kind of a play in his 7 snaps or whatever he's about to get, that would make me really happy. But do I need that? I don't need that. Outside of that, I mean, the next guys are all important. Kingsley and Igbare. I've been saying for a while I have questions. I don't know. I said it before the season started. Of all the guys that I'm worried about their ability to take a step in a down defensive end role, Kingsley and Igbare is that guy, and he's the one that didn't really take a step by the end of that last year. Brenton Cox was awesome. Would love to see him continue that. Aaron Mosby, I think, is a big question mark at this point because there's just becoming a lot of competition. I'm kind of concerned he may be too far down the list and that the Packers don't agree with me, but I really like him, and I would love for him to have a big day to maybe put some of that to rest. But the big one, obviously, is Barron Sorrell. Deslin Alexander's been getting a ton of hype, making a bunch of plays, all that stuff, but Barron Sorrell is the guy. He's the guy, as a rookie 4th-round pick, that would be great to see go out there and just make a lot of waves off the edge. On the interior, Brooks and Wooden, I don't super care. Not that I don't care about their ability to be good. I don't know that I would trust anything that I'd see in the preseason. As of right now, neither of those guys are great football players. And if they're going to prove me wrong, which I hope they do, it's going to happen in the regular season. The 2 guys I'm very interested in are teammates Warren Brinson and Desir Stackhouse. Stackhouse, that sort of bigger nose tackle build, made a ton of waves so far. Would love to be able to see him continue that. Warren Brinson, our 6th-round pick. You know, you just hope some of these picks end up panning out. Haven't heard a ton about Warren Brinson. I suppose if Stackhouse pans out and Brinson doesn't, we'll call it a wash. But very hopeful that we can see something from Brinson. Linebacker, I'm extremely intrigued by Simmons. Don't care about Cooper Walker. Simmons has been the talk of the town. Would love to be able to actually see that out there. McDuffie is McDuffie. Tyron Hopper, again, would love to be able to see him make some strides and be a really impressive player. So those are the 2 guys that I really want to keep an eye on. Nobody else, in my opinion, is all that interesting. Corner, again, Nixon, Hobbs, don't care. Bullard, I would like to see a little bit. Seems like it's been mostly negative, although the coaches say that it's been mostly positive. Whatever. I'd like to be able to see him out there. Hopefully, maybe doing some double duty for a while, playing slot, maybe also playing a little bit at safety. PFF hasn't gotten to the point where they break it down by position yet, which is very annoying. Seems like that would be one very easy upgrade that I've been asking for years, but they haven't really made any improvements in years anyway. But interested to see 7th-round pick Micah Robinson. Very interested to see Bo Melton. He's been the talk of camp, and of course Kalen King. We'll see about Valentine. I would think he's in the same boat as Keyshawn and Hobbs. I don't know. I hope so. But yeah, Kalen King, Bo Melton, and Micah Robinson are the three that I'm most interested in watching. And then at safety, Oladapo, it's just one of those things. He's just kind of buried. And last year around this time, he was battling some injuries, so we didn't really get a chance to see him. Would love to be able to see him get an opportunity to put some great stuff on tape. Special teams, I don't know, man. As far as returning, it would be great to be able to get a good look at Mecole Hardman. I have no interest in seeing Matthew Golden doing anything. I don't want to see Keyshawn Nixon doing anything. Maybe Savion Williams and Mecole Hardman, if they end up doing some stuff, I would be supremely interested in that. McManus, continue making stuff would be great, but can only go backwards at this point. Perfection is the standard has been set at perfection. Daniel Whalen, we've been hearing a ton from, but similarly, I'd kind of like to see it and be able to measure it a bit as opposed to just booming, booming, booming. I think the reality is when you hear an NFL caliber punter kick a football, it sounds like an explosion. So I think there's always a feeling of like, holy cow, this guy's got a leg. It would be great to actually see what some of the measurements are here. But that's about it, folks. I'm not quite excited yet. Right now I'm just a little bit tired, but starting tomorrow I will be very, very excited. I'm excited for some of your calls. Hopefully it's all positive. Not planning on doing any kind of a live stream, at least at this point. My son's been hounding me about that. We'll see about maybe doing that during the season. I don't know. We'll just have to kind of play it by ear. It's a really big trade-off. I hate the thought of not doing it. I also hate the thought of not just being able to watch the game and enjoy it with the family. So, decision has not been made yet by me. But I'm going to leave it at that. You guys have a good rest of your day. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.